this older dude, a little wrinkly, not much hair. But when I was a teenager, I had long, flowing hair. I had bell bottoms. I looked like a hippie. I was into the peace and love, but I was more into the pot, selling it. I was a teenage drug dealer. When I was young, weed was illegal. That made it all more exciting. Now that it's legal, they've taken all the fun out of childhood. I needed money. My parents were Dutch and frugal. My allowance was $1 a week. $1 a week. They had deep pockets, but short arms. So money was an issue. I had a family to feed. A family of guinea pigs. We had 30 kids. We were like a family of Amish. Since my parents had short arms, I had to pay for all the guinea pig food. So, I launched my drug empire. Drugs to feed guinea pigs. I basically supplied the high school with pot and hash. I didn't learn much at school, but I learned about business. You buy a big chunk of hash, chop it into little pieces, and sell that for a profit. The trick was not to smoke all your profit. Back then, parents figured that kids should be seen and not heard. They certainly didn't pay much attention to me. They had no idea I was a drug dealer, despite being busted at 13 for possession. We lived in a suburb on a lake, and there was this abandoned cottage on the lake. We used to hang out there as kids. One day we were there smoking some reefer, and it was pretty good stuff, I remember, because we were laughing our asses off when suddenly 3 cops showed up. I went, holy shit, am I hallucinating? I said, no, this is real. I grabbed the bag of weed, ran down the lawn towards the lake. I was shaking the baggie and trying to get the damn weed out. The cop was right behind me. I get to the edge and I throw the baggie in the water. It does not sink. That baggie was like a fucking life preserver. Slowly, I watched the waves push that baggie back to the shore. The cop fished it out. You're busted. Possession. After that, I became the kid that parents warned their kids not to hang out with. They said, he's not a good friend. I said, really? Everybody was really happy to see me. I was the friend with weed. I was the friend indeed. Back then, things were different. You could hitchhike. I hitchhiked to Vancouver and back. Everything was cool. Now, I wouldn't even hitchhike to the Dufferin Mall. Because it was illegal, we had a secret language. Canada's weed was Kingish. Hash was hockey pucks. You could buy a nickel bag of weed, $5. You could buy a dime bag, $10. This kid comes up to me and says, give me a dime bag. I said, okay. Let's see the color of your money. Gives me a dime, a coin. I said, here's a sucker. I said, that's $10. He gave me $10. I gave him a chunk of incense. Came back the next day and said, are you supposed to get a headache? I said, don't worry. Everybody got ripped off. I got ripped off. We gave a guy $800 for a pound of weed. Quite a bit of money back then. Disappeared, went into an apartment building, never came back. Well, back then, you know, it was a difficult time. Things were hard. Sometimes, if I could remember what I'm doing next. Yes. Yeah, that was right. How did I forget? My dad found my stash. And he did what every good dad would do. Flushed it down the toilet. I wish that baggie had a life preserver. As a it was some primo Acapulco Gold. The next time, he says to me, he comes later, he says, I'm putting you into cadets, son. I said, what? I'd have to cut my hair. No way. Later, though, I thought, that's a pretty good, untapped market. Yeah, well, back then, I got bored. I got bored with the whole dope scene and the discussions and the endless chatter about where is it from? Was it any good? Is it as good as the last time? Is it from Jamaica? Is it from Afghanistan? Nepalese temple balls? Is it enough? I'm going straight. My friends did not believe me, but I did it. Well, it lasted about a year, because I sure smoke now. Nowadays, people look at me different. Back then, I was this long-haired hippie kid. Now, they see the last gasp of white privilege. We're all bleeding heart liberals now, it seems. There's a reason for that. We realize deep down, a lot of the bad stuff that's going on is our fault. Plus, we invented a lot of bad shit. Leaf blowers. Why do they always fire those things up just when you're going to have a nap? Dynamite. Well, it had some good things, but it sure killed a lot of people. You know the guy that invented dynamite also created the Nobel Prize? The Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, his name was Alfred Nobel. He must have felt bad. Classic case of white guilt. Plastic. That went well. A giant island of plastic garbage floating around in the Pacific Ocean. It's supposed to be the size of Alaska. Maybe some of the bleeding heart liberals would want to go there and check it out. Maybe open a meditation retreat. Chant for plastic. Chant Om and connect with your inner microplastics. Well, where do we go from here? Well, we could spark up a nice fat joint. It's legal now. Marijuana denote generate some creative ideas. Hey, are you with me? Let's solve the world problems one joint at a time. Thank you.